What's going on, everyone? So, Sports Illustrated recently put out an article talking about the San Antonio Spurs potentially making a play at Jaden McDaniels. Now, I think it's interesting. Jaden McDaniels has been in a lot of trade rumors recently, primarily because of the Lakers side of things. There was a huge talk and debate about Lakers trading Austin Reeves for Jaden McDaniels and kind of solve both teams' needs, right? Minnesota really could use kind of that playmaker alongside Anthony Edwards. Get that in Austin Reeves, where the Lakers could really use kind of that 3-and-D wing. And then now there's reports from Sports Illustrated about hey, hold up, what about the Spurs going and getting Jaden McDaniels? Now, honestly, same thing with the Spurs. I think that would be fantastic, right? Just like there's an argument for the Lakers. I mean, Jaden McDaniels is one of the best kind of 3-and-D wings in all of basketball. He's young enough to kind of fit the timeline with the San Antonio Spurs and their youth and players and stuff. I mean, imagine having, De'Aaron Fox with Stephon Castle, Jaden McDaniels, Harrison Barnes, and Victor Wembanyama. You'd be one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball. You'd be, if not the best defensive team in all of basketball, you'd have kind of that shooting and that scoring, that playmaking. Obviously, you need to see Jaden McDaniels playoffs. He's actually much better shooting the three ball. But you're starting to see also Jaden McDaniels, to his credit, kind of come into his own a little bit offensively. So if he can kind of continue to take strides, like I said, he's young enough to be a real impact player. One of the premier defensive guys, 6'9", length, size, athleticism, can defend basically everywhere on the basketball court, right? You don't get much better defensively than Jaden McDaniels. Brian Wright himself said hey, we want to be the best defense. We want a defensive identity. We want to be one of the premier defenses and kind of hang our hat on the defense. You look at the old Spurs dynasty. It's that's how they could score and do all those other things, but they were just smothering defensively. You think of a young prime Kawhi Leonard and just his defensive versatility and all those things, right? Bruce Bowen, guys like that. But point is that you look at a team like the Spurs and it's okay, what are kind of the biggest needs? I think you could argue the 4 spot if you want to win sooner than I think the 3, right? Because yes, you have guys like Carter Bryant, but he's probably going to take a couple years to kind of get under his belt, right? Where a Jaden McDaniels, he's young enough and ready enough and proven to where it's that can make sense. Right? Hey, let's go get a Jaden McDaniels, bring him in. Now we're ready to start cooking and winning now. Right now you have, again, Victor Wembanyama and his versatility, plus a Luke Cornett. You could even go with Wemby, Luke Cornett, Jaden McDaniels, Stephon Castle, and a De'Aaron Fox. Worry about their shooting, right? But point is you'd have ridiculous defense. You'd have all kinds of different defensive lineups. Jaden McDaniels' ability to play basically 2 through 4 for you, right? I just think you'd have lineup versatility. You'd have a lot of things there. Jaden McDaniels, I think, could potentially solve for this team. Again, everything comes down to price, right? What would it cost to go get Jaden McDaniels, right? Luckily, he's not making 40, 50 million. So you got to get to about, 24 million or so in order to do that. And then it just depends on what is Minnesota looking for in a potential trade if they were to trade Jaden McDaniels. And I'll talk about them actually wanting to trade Jaden McDaniels here in a moment. But, again, if it's something where, it's hey, give us Dylan Harper, are you doing that if you're the Spurs? Now if it's something where it's would you give up one of Stephon Castle or Dylan Harper? If you're getting a Jaden McDaniels, right, do you maybe go hey, let's keep Harper just because we could use more offense at that point and then get off of Stephon Castle, right? Do you try to keep both of them? It just, again, there's a lot of questions on how you want to do that, right? Do you look at Jaden McDaniels? Because, again, Jaden McDaniels and his versatility, it's okay, well, what if Carter Bryant evolves into, because I've said it, I wouldn't be shocked if Carter Bryant is the second best player on this team, not named Victor Wembanyama. Right? I wouldn't be shocked. Talk about a guy that has the size, the length, the athleticism already defensively is a menace. If he just develops that offensive game, I wouldn't be surprised at all. If you jumped into a DeLorean, traveled to the future, came back and were hey, just to let you know, Carter Bryant is the best player not named Victor Wembanyama. I'd be yep, I could see that. So do you kind of go that route and go with the size and the length? right? Because I mean, think about it. You go De'Aaron Fox, and then post De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Carter Bryant, Jaden McDaniels, Carter Bryant, and then Victor Wembanyama, and then you solve the 4 spot or go like a Luke Cornett and Victor Wembanyama. Because if Carter Bryant can become that, like even like an OG type, right? Maybe say he's not really a Kawhi type, but he's more an OG type. Again, still great. You talk about all-star level guy that you could slot in at your 3 with the big physicality. Jaden McDaniels at your 2 as like your point of attack, versatile defensive. I mean, there's some options there. Now, would Minnesota even trade Jaden McDaniels? This season, I don't see it. I don't. I think that this is kind of more just like a fun exploratory thing than it is like, hey, Spurs might be able to get Jaden McDaniels, right? Like it was the same thing. Like the Lakers thing, I think makes more sense, right? Because their biggest issue has been playmaking and guys like that. So, and you're talking Austin Reeves, talk about a guy that without LeBron is a 28, 6, and 8 guy, right? So they're probably hoping like, even if he's not 28, 6, and 8, can he be 23, 6, and 8, or 23, 6, and 6, something like that. They desperately need his play. They have enough athleticism, length, versatility. Like they have all the things to match that. So like that makes a little more sense, right? If the Lakers, the question is, would the Lakers be willing to trade Austin Reeves, right? I think Minnesota might be more willing to trade Jaden McDaniels back to the Lakers because the Lakers drafted him back to the Lakers if they could get Austin Reeves. Just would the Lakers do that? Where as far as the Spurs go, unless you're trading them De'Aaron Fox, I don't think that they would do it. Right now, if they could get De'Aaron Fox, maybe they'd look at it and go like, hey, we get De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards. Right? We have, again, plenty of guys that could fill in and play the role that we need at the 3. Like, do we kind of go that route, right? So, I don't think the Spurs would trade De'Aaron Fox, at least yet. To me, this is more of like a potential off-season move. Next off-season, right? You go and you bring in a Jaden McDaniels because Minnesota kind of wants to retool and revamp this roster, and it's like, hey, we made 2 conference finals. Maybe you make the conference finals again this year. It's like we've made 3 conference finals, but we're still not able to get over the hump, right? Like, so if the Timberwolves don't make the NBA finals this year, then I think that there is a good chance that they kind of retooled, like, hey, we need to kind of revamp this because it's just not working. I think that then maybe they'd look to trade a Jaden McDaniels. And then if you're a team like the Spurs, you could look to maybe capitalize on that, bring him in. So it's not something I expect this season, but next offseason, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if something like that ends up happening. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.